Welcome to Main and Center. This is Chris Kalin and Company. It is time for us to get into the meat of the matter, and that is with our guests today. This segment is being brought to you by the Crossroads House. And when I say Crossroads House, that means Diane Syed. Good morning, Diane, and welcome. It's great to see you.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me again.
Diane, of course, you brought in a guest today. You want to introduce her, and we'll speak to her a little bit about Crossroads House.
Well, it'll be my pleasure, Chris. My guest today is Sue Chiddy, and she's a very active volunteer in our community, and we're so blessed to have her as a volunteer at Crossroads. She's been helping us out since about 2015 with her very green thumb, and she devotes a lot of time in our gardens at Crossroads House and also at our second building at the Legacy Living Center down the street. And I guess she's someone I would describe as a servant leader. She jumps right in, gets the job done. She doesn't see something that needs tweaking here or there and wait for someone else to do it. She sets the example, and we're so happy that she picked us to give her time to.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you. Welcome, Sue Chiddy. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. It's nice to be here.
It's a pleasure. So go get her. It sounds like you don't rest on your laurels. You're ready to get out and mix it up.
Yes, and I'm gardening at 12:30 with a few other people today
Awesome.
At the Legacy Center.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
We're
So
mulching and staking.
you like to get right down in the dirt.
Oh, yes.
Excellent. Where did that come from?
That came from my parents.
Yeah?
I remember planting tomatoes with my dad when I was very young, probably like 4 or 5, and then planting flowers and weeding with my mother. My mother raised 7 children along with my dad.
Wow.
And I think she found an out in gardening.
Sure.
Outside, and I enjoyed gardening with her because it was time spent with her.
Sure.
And then I much preferred the outdoor chores to the indoor chores.
Excellent.
So I volunteered to help her weed, cut grass, whatever.
That's wonderful. I like that. Sue Chiddy, where are you from originally?
I'm from Tonawanda. I grew up in an area called Parkview. It was down the street from Ellicott Creek Park, hence
Gotcha.
the name Parkview.
All right.
And then we moved to we moved to Batavia in 1982 when my husband was transferred here with his job. And then we were in Elba from 88 till last year.
All right. Terrific. So you've been in the Genesee County region for about 40 years almost.
Yes.
And the interest in gardening came at an early age, obviously, with the folks. I love the reasons behind it, just to be with Mom and an escape for her to just get out of the house for a little while.
And now it's an escape for me.
Terrific. And what a beautifying experience, too. I've been over to the Crossroads House, and the landscaping and everything is divine. Looks great.
Oh, thank you.
And, you're doing all this out of the goodness of your heart just to do it.
And it's a crew that we work with. There are others who volunteer, and we've been blessed this year to have some volunteers from ARC led by Steve, and they have put a lot of manpower in, which has been great because we're all woman power.
Oh, okay. That's good. Sue, why the Crossroads House? What led you to get involved with them 6 years ago?
My mother lived with us in 2012, and she had a terminal illness, and she went to Crossroads House in 2014. And she spent almost 3 months there, and it was a very wonderful experience for our family to have her there and being cared for so much by the wonderful volunteers. She rallied. She lived longer than we expected, and we had a wonderful time visiting her there. Family and friends felt very comfortable in the home-like setting. And they would have felt more like they were intruding if they had come to our house, but we were no longer able to provide the intimate care she needed.
Sure. So they had the setting at the Crossroads House. Other family members from out of town didn't feel like they were imposing because they didn't come to your house.
Exactly.
And it's big over there. There's a lot of room and a lot of fun goes into it as well. And the fact that she was there for 3 months, you were able to spend a lot of quality time.
Yes, we did.
But you also, it seems like you're a very observant person. You got to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and you're like, gosh, they're all volunteers.
Yes.
And that inspired you?
Yes. After my mother died, I wanted to do something to help out at Crossroads. And I'm looking around at the different opportunities and thought gardening would be right up my alley.
Sure.
And there was already a volunteer, Cindy Lauder, and I joined her. And then we've pulled in a few other people to help us, which has been great.
That's terrific. So a wonderful memory of the time spent there with your mom, doing something that you loved doing with your mom. Now they're at the Crossroads House gardening and at their legacy center, right, Diane? Is that, yeah?
That's correct.
And you're putting her legacy right there at both locations.
Absolutely. I have a very fond memory of spending the last day with my mother. It was the first beautiful warm day in April of 2014, and I took her outside. She was very tired, but we just sat side by side in the sunshine and enjoyed the weather and the sun on our faces. And the next day she died. So It was just wonderful to have that memory to hold dear to my heart about my mother and being with her. And now, on April 2nd, every year on the anniversary of her death, I go over to Crossroads and chat with staff or just have a cup of coffee and sit outside and remember her. And it's a nice day to remember my mother.
Sure.
And it's a great place to do it.
Yes, I agree. And probably another reason why you're there to maintain and keep that place as beautiful as it is.
Yes, my mother was always very meticulous and she wanted things just so, and I think I've inherited that fault.
Not necessarily a fault.
Well, my family thinks so.
That's awesome. We're talking with Sue Chiddy, who is sharing with us that special connection that she has with the Crossroads House, which has led her to become a dedicated volunteer for the last 6 years. Closeness with her mom, sharing that last day with her mom there. And I love what you've shared with us, sitting there with her and letting the sun beam down on you. And nowadays you go there on April 2nd.
Yes.
Sit there, and when the sun beams down on you, that's your mom talking to you.
It sure seems like it. Sometimes when I'm gardening, I start thinking about her, and before I know it, I'm talking subvocally to myself.
Sure. And
asking for her wisdom that I didn't appreciate years ago, but I could sure use now.
Sure.
At different times.
Yep. I'd be like that too. I'd be like, all right, Mom, where do I put these? What should I do with this row? Do I prune these back? Absolutely. I'm with you. Terrific stuff, Sue. Beautiful. And thank you for sharing that stuff with us today.
You're welcome.
Diane, she's been with the Crossroads House as a volunteer now for 6 years. And she's doing gardening. A lot of people have heard us talk about, I don't know if I want to get involved with Crossroads House. I don't want to interfere or meet the people. She doesn't. She doesn't have to. She does it in other ways. There are so many other ways to volunteer at the Crossroads House.
Oh, for sure, Chris. Everybody's got some sort of a gift or talent that I believe they're meant to get joy from and also to share with the world. And whatever you need to do at your house, we need to do at Crossroads House. We have one of our volunteers who comes on Wednesdays, and what she does for us is she answers the phone and answers the door. Or if we know we're getting a new admission to the house when everybody's, preparing for their arrival, having another person there who can handle certain things is just such a blessing for us. So, we have fundraisers, our garage sale, with our second building, we need maintenance here and there. There's always cleaning or, things out in the garden. We have a beautiful deck out back, but it gets a lot of leaves on it. Mm-hmm. So, if someone were finding that they have some time to clear up leaves or wash down the furniture, give us a call at Crossroads House. Our number's 343-3892. You can leave a message for Emily Crawford, who is our coordinator of volunteer services. You can go to our website and click on the volunteer tab, or just stop by and ring the bell. Do what you can with what you've got, and have a great day, everybody.
That's terrific. Sue Chiddy, thank you again for taking the time to come in and speak with us today.
You're welcome. I think it would warm everyone's heart as much as it warms mine when I see a resident outside enjoying the space.
Absolutely. You nailed it. She nailed it today. She's excellent. Diane, thank you again. This segment of the Main and Center has been brought to you today by the Crossroads House. Diane Saya, it's always a pleasure. Thank you again for coming by today.
Pleasure is mine, Chris. Thank you.